Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News, and we have a bombshell accusation about a cast member on a recent season of The Bachelorette and other accusations made by former Bachelor producer Alana Noel. We're going to get into this story. It's absolutely bonkers right now, folks. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal. We'll be live at the 10 a.m. hour this morning and every afternoon. The hit podcast, Bachelor Rush Hour, will have all of your entertainment news in one place. 2 months ago, we made this story. Bachelor producer called out by ex. The Bachelor producer's on the left. Her name's Alana Noel, and her ex is also a Bachelor producer. I've blurred his face out, but we don't really need to do that because now he's responding. So this is a big public melee. So the Bachelor producer, I believe, is still working on the show, or at least worked on the show up until Zach shall cross his season right there. She called this the most disgusting thing on the planet. 2 months ago, we shared what she said. She made some wild accusations about her ex. And now he has responded on Instagram about his new girlfriend. In doing that, he called out his ex, Alana here, to which she then responded with some crazy accusations. I'm not saying she's crazy. I'm saying the accusations she speaks of are crazy. Will we get more information about this? We'll have to see. She doesn't name any names other than her ex here, but people are starting to piece together what might have gone down. Listen to her accusations, and I would say let's try not to say, oh, it must have been this guy or it must have been that guy, because we're not going to know. My belief is that she's probably going to share these names eventually, in which case there are some people out there that are probably wildly nervous. Anyway, here's what her ex had to say on Instagram over the weekend. I've heard stories about crazy exes my whole life. I always thought they were a myth because I never dealt with one. Then World saw fit to introduce me to the queen of them all. Again, he's talking about Alana, the producer here. This low-down trash bag has spent the last 4 months putting in a jaw-dropping amount of effort and going to the lowest of the lows a human being can go to try and ruin my life. I sat back and watched her go to astounding lengths to try and F up my name, my character, and my career. Her Cheeto-dusted fingers blasted away on her phone through social media, fake phone numbers, and fake email accounts. I didn't do or say a thing, didn't retaliate or try fight it in any way, so anybody that gives a shit could watch on full display her trash character compared to somebody that's surrounded by a loving family and friends. When someone's own family hates them, friends can't be around them anymore, and they spend their days locked inside with the shades closed. This is the behavior that you get. The people in my life that know me and know the truth of this whole situation, those are the real ones, and I love you all. But through it all, I'm thankful for one thing this scumbag of a person did, which is stay the F away from me. Granted, it took a restraining order to do it, but still. And by staying the F away from me, I met someone I was actually supposed to be with. Someone I am so thankful for, a real woman. She is half the size and twice the woman. She represents everything that my ex is not. She's beautiful on the inside and out, whereas my ex was just plain ugly in both. She's a wave of fresh air, and I can't get enough. Na, hey, goodbye. This is wild that he would message this. I don't know what's true. I'm not the sort of the ref here as far as who's on the right side, because I have seen zero evidence. We just have seen her share her story. But I have to tell you, there's always more credibility when somebody actually puts their face to a story. Than not. Now, but that doesn't mean that person's telling the truth. It just means this is not some anonymous source on Dumois or something. This is firsthand. This is what she's saying happened. And we already shared the last video, which was very sad. This upcoming one is a little bit more dramatic in the sense that there was some, I guess, consensual sex happening between a Bachelorette cast member. I'm assuming on Gabby and Rachel's season. We're trying to piece that all together. But anyway, I'm going to play, that's not it right here. I'm going to play, this was my last video from 2 months ago, where she kind of first broke open this story here, calling out her ex with horrific accusations. You can go back and watch that one after. But I'm just going to play 3 different clips from Instagram stories over the weekend. The first one doesn't revolve around any Bachelor cast members. It's more of a character assassination. But then the next 2 talk about Bachelor alumni, women who tried to hook up with the producer during their exit interview. Not extreme. I mean, it's like technically they were dumped by that point, but still kind of wild. And then another one where they talk about things that went down on the season. Again, these stories revolve less around the ex. It's almost like by commenting on Instagram, he opened up this Pandora's box of new drama that's leaking out. Again, we'll have to see if there's any clarifications on these stories, any names mentioned. Lana Noel, did I say Alana? Lana Noel has her own podcast. It's very new, I believe, and she has not talked about this on her podcast as far as I know, but we'll be listening if there's any more information that comes in.
So he made this friend at rehab, and it was like his best friend, literally his best friend. Would not shut up about him, wanted to be around him all the time, thought he was like the coolest guy, greatest dude, whatever. I was like, enough about this man. Let's call him Tucker. Okay? So Tucker starts dating a girl, and my ex decides to hit up Tucker's girl and try to fuck her behind Tucker's back. And then the girl went and told Tucker and was like, your best friend is trying to fuck me. And then Tucker approached my ex and was like, dude, why would you do that? Why would you try to get with my girl? Like, what? Can you explain this? And he was like, yeah, man, I was just trying to see if she was a slut for you. And he was like, what? And that was the end of that relationship.
All right, so just some, random character work happening here. Let's go to the Bachelor girl. This would be someone from the Bachelor season that hooked up with a cast member.
Stories. Here's another one. When we first started dating, it was my birthday, and he was supposed to take me to dinner. I went sailing with my friends down the street from his house, and then we were supposed to go to dinner after that. He relapsed on heroin the night before. Yikes. And then tried to cancel like right as I was coming to his house. And I was like, what? What do you mean? I was like, there must be a bitch over there. So I was like, I'm fucking coming. I don't care. And he's like, well, give me a minute. And I was like, no, I'm coming, because I knew there was someone there. Come to find out, I just found this out recently, actually. There was a bitch there. It was a girl, actually a nice girl. I don't hate her. A girl from the show, from The Bachelor, that he was screwing. Then, when we broke up, he started screwing her again. And while he was screwing her, he tried to fuck her best friend from the show. So that's how I got a lot of information, because he just keeps pissing off the wrong people. I know you guys are probably sick of seeing my face, but...
No, keep going.
Here I am again. I don't talk about this part because it's just not funny, and I tend to only like to talk about the funny stuff, but I am legitimately scared to leave my fucking house.
All right, so then she goes on and talks about the fact that she's worried. Maybe it's because he got a restraining order on her. I'm not really sure, folks. But she says her ex relapsed on heroin with a Bachelor alum. Now, I guess other than some sort of moral issue you might have with a producer hooking up with alumni, you have to think it probably happens a lot. Probably because the producers get I would think that the desire to hook up would at least happen a lot. The producers get with someone very close on the show. They're kind of like trusting each other. They make these connections. They have this bond. They travel together, all those types of things.
Stories. Here's another one for you.
Right, another story.
One time, he came back from an exit interview. That's when you interview the people in the car when they don't get a rose. And when they're going home, and he came back and told me that this girl begged him to come up to her hotel room and have sex with him. Pleaded, begged, cried. And he wouldn't do it. For me, he said. For me. So sweet. I wonder if that was true. She probably didn't.
I guess that's
here's
not
a
true.
Juicy one. I
Juicy.
forgot about this one.
Juicy.
That I helped him cover up. Oh my God, I'm such a saint.
Right.
One time, we were on a ship, and he got to stay an extra.
All right, so they're on a ship, so that's why we believe it's the Virgin ship, right? The ship that they shot one of the pandemic seasons on for Gabby and Rachel's season.
Extra night in Amsterdam, while everyone else advanced to like the next place. And it was him, his cast member, and some other people. And they weren't supposed to leave the ship, but they did. And they went out with the hairdressers on the ship. And he was ignoring me the whole night, like wasn't answering his phone. I was like...
So the hairdressers are not employees of The Bachelor, they're employees of the ship. So if someone was to have consensual sex with a hairdresser on their off time on the ship, not that big of a deal. If it's somebody who's on Gabby or Rachel's season, now this becomes interesting.
Like, what the hell's going on? The only time I heard from him is when he accidentally answered his phone from his pocket, and all I heard was the Macarena, which I find hilarious. But anyways, I digress. What ended up happening is, I guess him and the cast member and the two hairdressers, according to him, just the cast member and the hairdresser hooked. I got cut off. But yeah, the cast member, who ended up going very far, hooked up with the hairdresser. And my boyfriend swore up and down that he didn't hook up with the other hairdresser. But now that I think about it, probably did. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say tonight. And
all right, let's cut it there. So we have a cast member from Gabby and or Rachel's season, presumably, who went very far on the show. So let's assume that means top 4. Allegedly hooked up with a hairdresser. Now we get into this moral question, right? Gabby and Rachel are allowed to have multiple partners while on the show. That's a show about sort of like polygamous relationships. Am I pronouncing that right? Maybe polyamory, whatever it is. But the contract, the social contract, really is that Gabby and or Rachel get to kiss and date and hook up with all these other men, but the men are waiting. And the question becomes, is it morally, and I think I know the answer to it, is it morally wrong for a guy who's on the cast, let's say on Rachel's season, Rachel Recchia's, is it morally wrong for him to hook up with somebody else while he waits for his chance to make it with Rachel or Gabby or not? Now, my quick answer and my belief is it's wrong, because at least on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, the cast members know the contract they're signing, which is they're all going to enter a house and date the same person. She's probably not going to have sex with anyone until the fantasy suites. Although if she does beforehand, that's okay too. It's one of those things. You tell people you don't, you know. But if and again, we're just throwing out conditionals here. These are not things that actually happened as far as we know. But if Rachel hooked up with somebody, and you're a cast member on Rachel's season, and then you're out having a few drinks in Amsterdam for the first time, seeing other women, probably, you know, you've sort of been quarantined alone in some cabin and, you know, whatever. And it's a sassy hairdresser. I don't know why, but I'm imagining they've got long fingernails and glitter and the hair is done up right. I'm thinking of just like a 1980s like perm outfit, whatever. The point being is you're both single and young. Is it morally wrong to be hooking up with that person? Initially we go, oh, that's horrible. But when you break it down, they're all dating around until they're not. So I don't know. But either way, it's very interesting. Now, these stories weren't really horrible about the ex, but I'm just guessing that there are more bullets in the chamber here with regards to things that the ex did that would be considered morally corrupt as far as being a Bachelor producer goes. Again, according to her accusations. According to him, she's making all of this up. Now, if there are exes or if there are women from The Bachelor that the ex-Bachelor producer hooked up with, chances are there are receipts of that happening in one way or another through text messages. And my guess is Lana Noel would have those receipts. If she was so scorned and upset about her ex, you would think she might be saving those receipts. In which case, and finally, if I were her ex right here, I would lay off all of the hate he's throwing her way if she has those final daggers to share. Which contestants did he hook up from The Bachelor? We'll find out if she wants to reveal that to us. Is it any information we're really obligated to know? No, but I mean, it could be interesting if, say, he hooked up with someone after their Bachelor season, but before their Paradise season. It would still be consensual. Again, it would just be some probably moral HR work that would have to be going on around Bachelor Nation to be like, I don't know if the producers should be hooking up with the talent. What do they say? Don't shit where you eat. All right. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Wow. Wild story for a Monday. We'll be back right after this.